It's a real pleasure to be invited to speak to you all today. So thanks so much to Mike and the team at Benchmark. My name's Caroline Bailey. I'm the channels program manager at Pix4D. So that means that I manage the reseller business. I'm based in Switzerland. I'm in Switzerland right now. So for me, it's 8 p.m. But I work with the US team mainly, and it's a great job, really enjoying it. So thank you for having me on today. We're going to be talking about Pix4D's main software, which is Pix4Dmapper. I'm going to be demoing that and showing you the basics of how it works with drones and drone flights. So if you have questions throughout, then please write on the panel, and Mike will be looking at those and I'll answer some at the end. If we don't answer everything, we will get back to you. We'll answer privately afterwards. Also, just be aware that anything you might like to purchase or you'd like more information about is available through Benchmark. So you can contact Mike and his team at any time. Okay. So I found this, Mike. This was the last thing I did before COVID.
Yes, it is.
This was literally 3 days before lockdown, I think. And we were in Virginia at a trade show for police and public safety. So that's Mike, myself, and Steve Waller, who's Mike's colleague. So I thought that was a nice little memento back when we were normal.
Yeah, that was right before lockdown.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so a little bit about Pix4D. We're based in Lausanne, that's in Switzerland. That's where our headquarters is, and we grew from a university startup into a team of 220 people with offices globally now. So I work for the Denver team, the US team, and I cover mainly resellers in North America with some other global ones. We have R&D in Berlin for agriculture, in Madrid for inspection, and then we have sales offices in San Francisco, Tokyo, and Shanghai. We're 9 years old, and I think the motto right from the beginning has been to get you the most possible information out of images to help your teams make better decisions faster. So the point of Pix4D is that you take images, you put them into our software, and it creates useful maps and models for you. We're going to do some demos today on what that looks like. The workflow then is that you first have to capture the images. That can be done by many different ways. Most people use drones. I think that's the bread and butter for us. Most of our users are combining drones with our software. But actually, you don't have to. You can use handheld cameras, mobile phones, and it's worth pointing out you can use lots of different kinds of cameras too, not just normal colored photographs, but thermal photographs or multispectral as well. You then take the images you've captured, you put them into our software, and you have two options for processing. You can either do it on your own desktop computer, or you can do it on our cloud. And I'm going to go through what both of those look like today. You then use the models you've created, you share them with your team, you look at what's useful to you, what information can be garnered. Maybe you need to withdraw some critical measurements, things like that. There's a whole range of reasons why people want visuals or technical maps of their sites. So let's see what it looks like without further ado. The main product I'm going to be demoing today is Pix4Dmapper. That's our main software right back from 2011 when we were founded. Pix4D Cloud and Pix4D Cloud Advanced have actually only just come out this year, but we have had a cloud feature for a long time in Pix4Dmapper. So it's now become separate, but it's a good way of showing you the difference between the desktop capabilities in Pix4Dmapper and the cloud processing capabilities that have now become separate products. Then we have actually many other products. I'm going to highlight today Pix4D React, which is aimed at public safety and makes 2D maps really quickly. And Pix4D Fields, which is aimed at agriculture and makes maps using multispectral cameras for monitoring crop health. I'm not going to demo those two today, but just know that if you're in those industries or you have clients that are, they do exist, and Mike and his team can serve you with those products too. Okay, so let's go on to a demonstration. So, yeah. Pix4Dmapper, here we go. So this is what you see when you first fly with a drone and process in Pix4Dmapper. Now this is one I did earlier because it takes a while to process, otherwise I would have done it right in front of you. But what you can see here is a drone path, that's the green line, and every red dot represents an image that's being captured, so a photograph looking down. The target here is an open pit mine or a quarry. And this is a classic case for people that want to do engineering work or high level survey grade work. So this is what you start with. You process, the first thing you're going to get is the point cloud. So this is what it looks like. Let me explain what you're looking at. You have many images that you've captured in rows, and they have been used to create a 3D model. So if I zoom in on this, you can see that open pit mine below us there. The idea is that this is a model made of 3D points. There are gaps where there wasn't enough information to put in more points here, but we have ways of covering that up. Now, the idea is that you can click on different points. So for example, if I click here, you're going to see the rays. This is called the ray cloud. You're going to see the rays that attach that point to the relevant photographs. So these are all the photographs that contributed to make that point. So you can see photographs are attached to the point. And that's really nice because it shows you, if you want to look in this area, you have a model, you know which area it was, you can click and you can see all of the original photographs. So this isn't just a way of having a pretty model, this is a way of storing photos as well. And this can be, you can see them displayed down the side here. All the ones that contain the point I've crossed have the cross in the middle. Now this can be really relevant if it's something that didn't get recreated too well. So we look at this little building here. And now if I look at the photographs down the side, you can see that in a lot more detail. And that's a really nice way of zooming in and looking for something that you needed to see particular information about. So maybe you're inspecting that and you want to know that there's some kind of dirt marks or potential damage marks here. You can go and investigate that in person much more quickly. Okay, so the next thing is, if I remove the cameras and the rays, that we want to see an aesthetically pleasing model of this 3D model as well. So what I will do is click the triangle meshes, and there we go. It fills in all the gaps. And what it's done there is taken textures from around the areas where there was gaps and filled them all in with meshed triangles. So if you zoom in there, you can see there's quite a lot of detail. I mean, you can see, look at this water puddles on the floor. There's tire marks here. So it's quite a lot of detail already. You can see the different rocks and see what's been excavated. You can see there's some kind of excavator there, machine, and different rocks around the side. This is the kind of model that I would say is medium accuracy, because you've got about 200 photographs making up this model. If I go back to the cameras, you can see all of the photographs there. If you had more, maybe 1,000 photographs, then you would have a higher quality result. But because you've inputted more information, it would take longer to process. So it's kind of a trade-off between how much accuracy you want and how much time you have. For a lot of people, the accuracy is the most important thing. And we're able to improve the accuracy by either having more photographs closer to the target, more overlap between photographs, but also adding in more geo information as well. So you can add in ground control points where you put a target down before you fly and you see on the ground that that's a point and I know the exact geolocation of that. And you can add that into the model and the whole thing recalibrates to become even more accurate. Okay, so that's the 3D aspect. We can then look at the mosaic. This is a 2D model, so 2D map, as it were, made of all of the original photographs as well, not just one photograph. And it's made of all of the points that you saw in the point cloud, just looking from above. You can also view this as a digital surface model, DSM. Oh, will come in a sec. So that allows you to see the height difference as well. It shows the same map, but in different colors, where the higher points are in red and the lower points are in blue. And that means you can output these kind of maps as layers into third-party software such as GIS or AutoCAD. There we go. And you'll be able to see the height difference because every single point will have an X, Y, and a Z direction. So that's great for doing other kinds of analyses afterwards, depending on what you're doing. So this is one example of why people make maps. I'm going to show you another one now. Now this is quite different. So I'd say there are two main reasons why people do this. One is, where is it? It is lost. Let me show you it here. One is so that you can get highly accurate maps and models, and the other one so that you and your team have situational awareness. So it really depends what you and your clients are looking for. They're looking for really high quality models where they can make precise measurements and do detailed engineering and design work, or do they need a quick map or model to show where they're standing, where in this case there's danger, there's debris from crashed cars. It really depends what the case in point is. So here, this is not a real crash. This is a mock-up where different cars have been put on top of each other. But you could imagine if this was a real crash, you can immediately see there's pieces of glass on the ground here. If I scroll out a bit, you can see that there's tire marks. If it was a road, there could be skids. And when you see that kind of thing, you can measure how long they are, and police will want to do that to see how fast the car was traveling at the time of impact, at what point the brakes were applied, all those good things, so they can do an analysis of what really took place. Obviously, you might need to get people out if it was a real crash. You'd need to know if there's you know, any other points of danger nearby, like is there a drop off the edge of the road, that kind of thing. So this is really important for anyone that wants quick situational awareness as well. And this particular map was done using only about 30 photographs. And whereas the one I showed you before would take about 3 hours to process, this one only takes about 40 minutes to process. So you can get a really quick model very quickly. Good. The difference between this and what I was showing you before is that this is on the cloud. So the first one I showed you, which is this one here, this was done on desktop computer. Like I processed this myself on my computer. And like I say, that took about 3 hours. Now, maybe you don't want to do that. Maybe your computer is tied up with other software and you don't have the capabilities. So what you can do is use our cloud, and that's where this was done. So the photographs were uploaded to the cloud and processed there. The other thing you can do is you can take images done on your own desktop, and then when it's done, send the whole model to the cloud and also use it as storage to share with other people from there. Okay, so let's show you a different one. This is in the construction industry. And what I'm showing you here is Pix4D Cloud Advanced, which is pretty much the same as Pix4D Cloud, where that forensics one was. Only here you've got two key improvements. One is this timeline across the top here. And that means you can model the same site on a regular basis and then see what the differences were between different days. And that's great if you're monitoring progress and you have a schedule, you need to keep to a schedule, and there's time and money involved and all those good things, especially if there's many teams. And you can imagine with a site like this, there'll be many different people contracted to do different jobs on the site. If one team doesn't do their job, it'll put the others behind. You need to know who's responsible, and if mistakes are made, then who made those mistakes and who would potentially be liable if there was a lawsuit. So here, for example, we can see concrete's being poured over about 1/3 of this yellow formwork area. The next day, we would assume more of that will be done. And so this is a really good visual representation, which is going to be there forever now on the cloud, of what was done on that day, and was that what was intended to be done on that day? Was that on schedule or was that late? You, as the person with access to this, would be able to log in from anywhere in the world, even if you weren't there or able to be there, and see what the case was every single day. So that's very powerful for people that have a stake in a building site or any site that's changing on a regular basis. That could also be a cleanup after a natural disaster. It could be a cleanup after a crash or an accident, all sorts of things. Anything that's changing based on weather, flooding, you know, as the flood water retreats. These are all things you might want to monitor and watch on a really close basis. So one of the other really nice things about this Pix4D Cloud Advanced is that you can overlay drawings of your plan of the site. So we can see it here. You can see me clicking it on and off. If I zoom in on this, you can see that this is an engineering technical drawing where it's stipulating how thick the walls should be, for example. Now I can click that on and off, and you can see that's pretty accurate to what's actually been built. You'd be able to see quickly if that was wrong. Like if this wall was 1 meter this way, you'd see very quickly that was wrong. That would have to be rebuilt if it was a safety concern. And obviously that costs time and money. And you definitely don't want to build the next story of the building while that's wrong, because that's even more time and money. So it would be good to catch that on the first story and correct it as soon as possible. And these are stories that we actually do hear from our clients, mistakes being spotted before they happen, and being corrected to the delight of the people that own the sites, and also the people who are responsible for different teams, because if they're found to have caused a problem, well, it's very embarrassing, but it also could cost them their job and their livelihood. So it's more than just embarrassing. So this is a really powerful tool. Okay, well, I've talked for quite a bit already about the different capabilities of Pix4D. Just going to go back to my presentation. So I wanted to go over the fact.
Hey, Caroline, I'm sorry to interrupt you. I have one thing. Can you go back to the quarry and illustrate how customers can do stockpile measurements and how easy that is?
Yeah, absolutely. That's fine. I'll just go over this since I'm on the page. So I've talked a bit about the inputs. Mainly people use images, photographs. You can also use videos. And then the outputs are the things I've shown you so far. So that's point clouds. The mesh was filling in the points in the point clouds. Orthomosaic is a 2D map. And then the digital surface and digital terrain models were the colored ones, which have a height difference in the maps. So that's the main things we were talking about. And then onto your point there, Mike. So you asked about the volumes. So this is something else you can get as an output. Volumes, contour lines, video animations, like a fly around of your site. So let me show you volumes, for example. I'm going to show you the cloud version. Okay, so here's the query. This one's in the cloud. So you've seen it now on the desktop and the cloud. You can see it's the same model. It was done with the same photographs. It's a slightly different interface, and it really depends on what you wanted to do as to which one you should pick. So let's do a volume measurement. So here's a volume stockpile we could measure. So you can see here, that's a little mound of presume coal or something. So let's click on here, measure a volume. And then we're able to start drawing. So you draw around the edge where you think it's the most flat so that it gets you the most accurate result. You can see it's calculating the area right now that's in the middle. So I'm trying to go right around the edge as best I can. That's in a metric system. You can also change this to imperial, just because I'm in Europe right now. So there we go, that's the area. And then if you go down here, you can calculate the volume. So there's both a cut and a fill here. So the cut is what's above ground and the fill is what's below, what it's measuring as minus, so below horizontal. And the difference is this much here, so 750 cubic meters approximately. And that's what it's saying is the total difference. It does give you an error if it thinks there's an error. So that will change based on how many points you've drawn around the outside. Obviously, I did that quite quickly. If you did it more accurately with more care, then it would be even better. Okay. So there's a few more things I wanted to show you. If we go to the Pix4D homepage, then you get these options along the top. And I'd like to point out these two to you here. So one of these is the blog. That's where we're on right now. And this is a collection of user cases and really interesting stories that our clients write, and also updates about the software. So we just had an update to Pix4Dmapper, it's version 4.5. And we'll write about why that's good for you so that you can have a look at all the latest things that you can be doing that can improve your workflows. We recently just introduced Pix4D Cloud and Pix4D Cloud Advanced, for example. So you could read about that here and all the functionalities. Then a lot of the other things are to do with the different kinds of clients that we cater to. So you've got agriculture here, you've got environmental studies here where people were looking at the ocean. We've got an inspection-based one here. People were making models of cell towers, solar panel inspection here. People were using thermal images and looking for problems with solar cells. And this was a really interesting one that was done as a heritage project recently. People were making models of the insides of the pyramids. So this was done with a really high spec camera, the phase 1. And you can see a really nice fly-through video here. So this is not a video done with a drone. This is a video made of the model they made. So it's really high quality, and that was well revered by our teams. So that's nice if you'd like to read more about what people do with the software. And then I'd also like to draw your attention to the support and training. I'd particularly point out the documentation site. This is a whole web page which can help you get started or troubleshoot any issues that you have. So you can click on any of these products here to learn more about them. So Pix4Dmapper is what I've been talking about today. If you need help, I would say first of all, contact Mike and his team because they're trained and they'll be able to help you with small issues. And then if it's a really difficult technical problem, you can contact our support team. We've got 10 people on technical support around the world, so they'll be able to answer you really quickly. And if you really wanted to, we've got the community, which is a bit like technical support from users. This is a forum where both users and Pix4D staff can help you even more quickly. So that's great. I think that's everything, Mike. I was going to talk about the training a little bit. We have online training courses all the time now. I think every 2 weeks we have another one. Let me show you where they are. Here we go. So support and training to training. And these are courses that Mike and his team can resell to you as well. So if you're interested in buying Pix4Dmapper, I would recommend that you invest in some training as well, because then you'll really get the most out of it. So as soon as that loads. you'll be able to see that we have training courses, which are self-paced, which are kind of like tutorials that you can go through on your own. We also have certification, which means you can do an exam these days to prove your proficiency. Here we go. And we also have many workshops online led by instructors. If you prefer to follow a kind of webinar tutorial style that lasts a couple of days, then you can do that too. So here's our workshops. And we have these all over the world now in different time zones, in different languages. So here's the next one, for example, Mountain Time. Oh no, that was already passed. Here's the next one, Mountain Time. So that starts tomorrow. So if anybody would like to do that course, you could. We've got essential ones in July, ones in Spanish, ones for fields, as well as for Mapper. So have a look through here if you're interested in getting trained. I think there'll be something for you. Just make sure it's not in Japanese unless you're proficient in Japanese. All right, Mike, I'm going to pass it back to you.
All right, perfect. Thank you, Caroline,
for having me today.
You're welcome. Let me go ahead and get my video turned back on. So I know that was a very high-level overview. I do want to remind everybody, in addition to the amazing training aspects they have on Pix4D's website, we do have multiple team members here at Benchmark who have passed the knowledge exam, so we are definitely capable of helping you out, and we'd be happy to do that. Mike, if you could go ahead and make me the presenter. Give me 1 second here. Yeah, as I said, we are able to train you guys up, whether we do it digitally, as seems to be the new norm these days, or if you are local here in Raleigh, North Carolina, or surrounding areas, we are happy to do that. There will be, we do offer some sort of promotional pricing if you do bundle either multiple Pix4D products together, or you purchase a drone and a Pix4D product from us. We are happy to work with you on pricing. We just ask that you give us a call. Let's see, actually, Caroline, you actually have the ability to make me host. If you don't mind, just click on the top, Mike Gaylord, and click on Make Host. While she does that, again, it's just give us a call, and we're happy to work those prices out with you.
There you go, you should be the host now.
All right. Oh, I think that went to the other mic. Sorry about the technical problems here, guys. For this 1 second. There we go. All right, so I'm going to leave this up for a few seconds, let you guys take that down. Again, we're here in Raleigh, North Carolina. If you guys have any questions, either general questions, you can reach out to us at info@benchmarksupply.com. If you have any general sales questions or want a quote, please feel free to reach out to our sales team, sales@benchmarksupply.com. Anybody in the Northern American market can reach out to us via phone at 866-342-7665. And again, we do have special pricing available for any bundles or packages that you guys may want to purchase. At this time, I do want to open it up, see if anybody has any questions. So if you have a question, please feel free to shoot anything in the chat box. We'll give that a quick minute here, see if anybody's got any questions that pop up. I know a few people jumped on in. We are going to be reviewing the video. We'll be sending a recording out to everybody who signed up. So if you did join us late and you did miss it, we are going to get a video together for you guys. We'll email that out here in a few days as soon as I can get that video put together. All right. So if there are, looks like no questions, Caroline, again, thank you so much for coming on and presenting for us. Certainly appreciate your help. Everybody who joined us today, thank you so much for taking time out of your day. We try to keep it short. I know webinars are kind of the new norm, so we didn't want to take up all day. Again, last time, if you got any questions, feel free to reach out to us. We are happy to help. If there's no other questions, guys, we'll go ahead and end the meeting now. Thank you so much. Hope you guys have a wonderful day and a great week. Thank you so much.